Imagine locking the door to your house and not opening it again for 3 months. You cannot see the sun, you cannot open a window, you cannot walk more than 100 feet in a straight line. This is the reality for the crew of a nuclear ballistic missile submarine. Once they dive, they disappear. Technically, a modern nuclear sub can stay underwater for 20 years without refueling. The reactor provides infinite power. So what forces them to surface? It's not fuel, it's not air, it's not water. The only limit to how long a submarine can hide in the deep is how much food they can fit on board before the crew starves. Today we are going down the hatch. We will see how 150 men live in a steel tube where day and night don't exist, where oxygen is made from scratch, and where a single mistake means you stay on the bottom forever. Welcome to the silent service. The first question everyone asks, how do they breathe? There are no snorkels. They don't bring tanks of air with them. They make the air. Submarines use a process called electrolysis. They take seawater, run a massive electrical current through it from the nuclear reactor, and rip the water molecules apart. H2O becomes hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen is pumped into the ship for the crew to breathe. The hydrogen, which is explosive, is quietly pumped overboard. But making oxygen is the easy part. The hard part is getting rid of the carbon dioxide, CO2, that 150 people exhale. If the scrubbers, machines that use chemicals to absorb CO2, fail, the crew will get headaches, then hallucinations, and finally, they will just go to sleep and never wake up. The air you breathe on a sub is recycled, scrubbed, and chemically treated. It smells like oil, ozone, and amine. And after 90 days, you don't even notice it anymore. You are surrounded by billions of gallons of water, but fresh water is more precious than gold. The ship has desalination plants that boil seawater to remove the salt, but these machines are noisy, and noise is death for a submarine, so they often run them sparingly. This leads to the famous Navy shower. You get 3 minutes, turn water on, get wet, turn water off immediately, soap up, turn water on, rinse, get out. If you take a Hollywood shower to letting the water run, you aren't just wasting water, you are making the ship louder and putting everyone at risk. Laundry is done once a week if you're lucky. And yes, you wear your blue coveralls for days at a time. How do you feed 150 men for 90 days? You pack the submarine until it literally has no floor. When a sub leaves port, the crew walks on top of cans of beans and sacks of flour. Every hallway, every corner, even the shower stalls are packed with food. As the mission goes on, you eat your way out of the ship. The floor slowly reappears as the food disappears. The chefs are the most important people on board. Good food keeps morale up. Bad food leads to mutiny, but fresh food, lettuce, milk, eggs lasts about, 2 weeks. After that, everything is frozen, canned, or powdered. By day 60, you are eating powdered eggs and long-life milk, and you dream of a fresh apple like it's a diamond. Space is so limited that on attack submarines, there aren't enough beds for everyone. This is called hot bunking. 3 sailors might share 2 beds. When one guy gets up to go on watch, another guy finishes his shift and climbs into the same warm bed. The coffin locker, your bed, is your only private space in the world. It is about 6 feet long and 2 feet high. You can't sit up, you can only lie down. You have a small curtain. That curtain is the only wall between you and 149 other people. If you're claustrophobic, you will not last 10 minutes. There is no sun, there is no moon, there are no windows. To keep the crew efficient, submarines often operate on an 18-hour day, not 24. 6 hours on watch, 6 hours of maintenance/training, 6 hours of sleep, repeat. This messes with your biological clock. Circadian rhythm. Your body never knows if it's morning or night. You might eat breakfast, your pancakes, at 7 p.m. real time, and dinner, spaghetti, at 4 a.m. After a month, you lose all concept of time. You measure life in watches, not days. The only way you know it's Sunday is because the cooks make pizza. In the movies, submarines are loud. In reality, they are libraries. Sound travels 4 times faster in water than in air. A dropped wrench in the engine room can be heard by an enemy ship miles away. The crew wears rubber-soled shoes. You don't slam doors, you don't shout. If the ship is in ultra-quiet mode, hiding from an enemy, life stops. No showers, no cooking, no moving unless necessary. You lie in your bunk and try not to breathe too loud. The psychological pressure of knowing that noise equals death changes how you move, even when you are back on land. This is the hardest part for the modern generation. There is no internet, no Wi-Fi, no live TV, no phone calls, radio. Waves don't travel well through water. To send a message, the sub has to come to periscope depth or float a buoy, which risks detection. So for 3 months, you are cut off. Did your favorite sports team win? You don't know. Did a new war start? You don't know. Did your wife have the baby? You might not know for weeks. The captain gets family grams or short text messages periodically. But bad news is often withheld until the mission is over. You live in a time capsule. What do you do with 3 months of garbage? You can't just open a window. Submarines have a special device called the TDU, Trash Disposal Unit. It's like a torpedo tube for garbage. Trash is compacted into heavy steel canisters called pucks. You load the puck into the tube, flood it, equalize the pressure, and shoot it out the bottom. The heavy puck sinks to the ocean floor. But this is dangerous. If you open the wrong valve at the wrong time, the ocean pressure will shoot the trash and the water back into the ship, like a cannonball. Even taking out the garbage is a life-or-death procedure. There is no AAA service at 800 feet deep. If the toilet breaks, you fix it. If the nuclear reactor pump vibrates, you fix it. If the oxygen generator catches fire, you fight the fire. Every sailor on board, from the cook to the captain, is a trained firefighter and damage control expert. They have to be. Fire is the biggest fear. On a surface ship, you can run to the deck. On a submarine, there is nowhere to run. You fight the fire or you die. The ship carries spare parts for almost everything, and the machinists can fabricate new parts from scrap metal if they have to. And finally, the cost. When a submarine crew returns after 90 days, they are physically different. They are pale, no sun. Their eyesight has changed because they haven't looked at a horizon in months. Their muscles have atrophied from lack of walking, but the mental toll is higher. They have lived in a machine designed to kill, sleeping, next to nuclear missiles that could end civilization. They have trusted their lives to the competence of the guy sleeping in the bunk above them. This extreme isolation creates a bond that civilians can never understand. They are brothers of the fin. A submarine is a technological miracle. It conquers the most hostile environment on Earth. But its fuel isn't just uranium. Its fuel is the discipline of the crew. People who volunteer to disappear from the world to live in a steel pipe so that the rest of us can sleep safely. Next time you take a deep breath of fresh air, remember, someone somewhere deep in the dark is making their own. Subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden world.